if you've been going through a spiritual awakening and you're noticing that your relationships are changing or you're finding it kind of hard to connect to people, this tip will shift your energy. But before we begin, check this out. Now that program is my baby and our next cohort is starting soon. So if that calls to you, I invite you to explore the link below. But now back to the one thing that I wish I knew at the beginning of my spiritual awakening. So when you are relating or chatting or communicating or connecting with someone in your world, we typically will approach with one of two energies. And those energies are either love, which feels lovely, or fear, which doesn't feel so good. So what I like to say is that when we are communicating, we either affect or infect others with our energy. So then there's affecting. And this is when you are ultimately communicating your message through the frequency of love. Even if it's a difficult message, you're able to get this across in a loving tone, in a loving way that is received, and the person then feels inspired, motivated, or encouraged to make a change or to do something different, or they even know how to do something now that you've explained it that way. On the other hand, there is another way that we communicate with others, and this is typically in the old earth, and it's bound by third density in the third dimensional field, and that is through fear. So this is when we infect others with our energy that might inspire action, but it's inspiring it out of fear. It gets you worked up and it pushes you to an outcome that may not even feel aligned, but it's because you were infected with their fear. So let's take the example of sugar. Some people might think this is the very worst thing for you and it can ultimately kill you. It's similar to cocaine. It's the worst possible thing you can put in your body. That's like coming from the perspective of fear. Now we take the same topic and maybe somebody is super educated on sugar and what it actually does. And so then they educate and they explain how refined sugar works in the body and what it does. And it doesn't create any fear. In fact, it creates breakthrough. And at the end of both of those two conversations, you have two different outcomes. You have somebody who is afraid to now eat sugar, and you have somebody who is motivated to try to find other ways to cook or have sweets in their life that don't have refined sugar. So ultimately, those are the two pathways that we can communicate. We can either affect somebody by coming from the perspective and the frequency of love, which educates and inspires, or we can infect somebody that comes from the perspective of fear, which is ultimately going to light a fire under their butt to do something different, but then it ultimately creates more fear, doubt, and insecurity. So my invitation to you today is to check yourself before you enter conversations and make sure that you are becoming an affector, not an infector. I'll see you in our next video. Hello, I am Sophie Frabotta, and on this channel, I post a lot of content about spiritual healing. I also show you how to raise your vibration, become confident in your spirituality, and embrace your spiritual gifts. I am here to assist you in feeling lighter, happier, and help you elevate your vibration into the new earth. I'd love to invite you to become a subscriber so that you can get notified as soon as our videos go live.